Hi guys. So let's take a look at those new timelines. I created a new timeline, which is the timelines, or a new campaign, which is this timelines version 1. So let's load that up. Okay, and basically in this timeline, I added 3 common channels, so that's channel A, B, and C. These are basically the 3 different patterns of ads that were originally in the Hopjacks downtown. So let's just change the view here so we can see the whole thing. So this is basically the whole timeline A and the whole timeline B and whole timeline C, and I just saved them in common channels. The purpose of saving them in common channels is that you can access any of these channels in any timeline that you create. So let's see, let's delete this one first. Okay, I'm just going to delete that timeline. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So we basically have one timeline, and we have the screen layout. Now let's say I want, in this timeline, I want the original series of ads of timeline A, which is in channel A now, to be in that section. So I just drag it over there. And if I wanted channel B, or timeline B, I'd put it over there. Now let's say I want to create 3 timelines. One to run in the morning, one midday, and one at night. So I'm going to need 3 timelines that I can schedule. So what I want to do is duplicate this timeline. So duplicate that, and let's call this one, let's just give it a minute to load there. Okay, let's call this one timeline 2, and let's create another one here. So we have timeline 1 and timeline 2, and I'm going to create another duplicate, so we're going to end up with a total of 3 timelines. So duplicate timeline, say yes to that. Okay, and let's see, we're going to rename this. So let's call this one timeline 3. Let's just change the number there in the end. Oops. Okay, there. So now that we have 3 timelines, what I'm going to do is go to timeline 1. So let's say for timeline 1, hold on, it's just loading there. Okay, so timeline 1, we select the screen layout, and for timeline 1, we want the A sequence of ads to go in there, and we want to go to timeline 2. Just loading, and then select the screen layout again here on top, and we want to select channel B, so just drag it over there, and going down to timeline 3, we want to select the layout, and we want channel C of ads to go in there. So we have 3 timelines, one running channel A sequence of ads, one channel B, and one channel C. And we want to schedule this to run, basically run in different parts of the day, or different times of the day. So I'm going to click on the timeline, or the campaign name here, so that I can select the scheduler. So I change it to scheduler from sequencer. Now we have the schedules right here on top. So I click on schedules, and now I'd be able to put a schedule on these timelines. So let's say I want timeline 1 to run in the morning, and another timeline to run there. So I'm just going to put all 3 of them and set the time. Let's call this pattern 1, just so we don't get confused. Let's give them different names. This is pattern 2, and this is pattern 3. And pattern 1 has timeline 1 with a priority which is low priority. Let's change it to that. And we want to give it a custom duration, and let's say we want this to run for 4 hours. And we want it to repeat daily starting from October 7 to October 31. And we want it to start at 8 in the morning. So that's 8, 0, 0. So that's 8 a.m. runs for 4 hours, and you can see that there. Well, actually, I made that 4 minutes, so let's change that to 4 hours. There we go. So there, it runs for 4 hours there. That's timeline 1. And we go to pattern 2, which is timeline 2. And since the first one was medium, or was low, let's set this one to medium. Custom duration. Let's run it for another 4 hours. Oh, that's 4 minutes again. Okay, this is 4 hours, 4 hours. Okay, and repeat daily. So we want it to run up to the end of the month. And this one, we want it to start at, so first one was 8, so it goes to 9, 10, 11, 12. So we want this to run from 12 p.m. 12 p.m. for 4 hours. And we can see that there. So timeline 1, timeline 2. And the last one, which is pattern 3, we have a high priority for that. Custom duration. And we want it to run for 4 hours as well. And 0. Okay, and this one, we want this to run at 4 in the afternoon. So that's 13, 14, 15, that's 1600 hours. Okay. And we want a daily repeat of that up to the end of the month. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's take a look at how that appears. So that's first timeline, second timeline, and third timeline. So we have all 3 timelines, and we have common channels that we can use in any timeline. So basically, with this way of configuring the timelines, by having 3 common channels, you can basically create a duplicate of the whole campaign or create a duplicate of the whole timeline. By duplicating the timelines, you'd be able to create different schedules, and by duplicating the campaigns, you'd be able to create a whole new campaign, even create a whole new screen layout, and still use the same sequence of ads when you create new layouts and new campaigns, so you don't have to do a lot of rework. Okay, thanks. That's it. Have a good day.